Howdy tribe! So last installment of Minimalist Monday, I introduced you to these 4 different minimalist hunting tools with the intent of ultimately following up this week and doing some testing to get a sense of which tool would ultimately be the best for me in a survival situation, all things being equal. Now, just a preface here, as I mentioned last week, I am no professional marksman, so the idea is here, which tool can I actually take and without much experience use effectively to ultimately help my survival. So of course we have the Spectre Nomad over here, Dan Kung Slingshot right there, North American Arms mini revolver right there, and I had introduced you to this 4-foot blowgun last week, which I was going to cut down and make into a breakdown survival implement. But of course, once I did a little bit of research, I found that there's plenty of brands out there that already make these breakdown blowguns, and they're really cheap. I think this one was, I don't know, like 20 bucks from Venom Blowguns right here. Very solid little setup, just has these little connectors, and it's 36 inches, so it's pretty comparable to that other blowgun that I introduced you to. So that's going to be the 4th tool that I'm going to be testing today. And yeah, without any further introduction, let's just dive right on in and see how these bad boys work for me. So the way this test is going to work is I've got 4 different boxes set up here, as you can see, with 4 equal targets on them. So all the exact same size targets, same shape, everything like that. And I'm going to get back probably, I don't know, between 30, maybe 40 feet, somewhere in that range, a reasonable distance that you could conceivably be hunting and actually get that close to an animal. Much closer than that, you know, you're going to have to be pretty stealthy, I feel like, to be sneaking up on it. And yeah, one by one, I'm just going to go down the line here and test these tools out and see how they work out for me. And then when it's all said and done, we'll have a little discussion and I'll share my thoughts with you. Let's dive right on in. Alright, so we're all finished shooting here. Now let's go ahead and assess the kind of damage I did and see which one of these tools ultimately works best for me. As you can see here with the arrows, now I only had 6 arrows, so I had to pull some out and then shoot them again. However, I missed 4 times. So where these arrows are right now is actually all the places that I did in fact hit. I like shooting the bow and arrow. I found the Spectre Nomad to be a little bit unwieldy. You know, I imagine if I spent a lot more time with it, I could get a lot better, but it didn't feel inherently comfortable with me. The arrow rest that I have on there isn't super spectacular, and I felt like that was also throwing my arrows off a little bit. So accuracy was a bit iffy on that one, and of course, like I discussed last week, the weight on that one is surprisingly high when you compare it against the rest of these guys. So for a minimalist hunting tool, this probably isn't the one that I would rely on. I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm not particularly accurate with it, and it's big and kind of bulky relative to some of these other guys that I'm looking at. So for me, this one's a pass. A lot of fun, but not necessarily ideal for minimal survival, especially if you're just looking for primarily small game. Moving down the line here, the Slingshot. Also took 10 shots. You can see I got one right here, 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 there, and there. So I was even less accurate with the Slingshot. But that being said, I actually like the feel of the Slingshot a lot better than the bow. It's a lot easier to use, a lot more intuitive, a lot simpler, and of course, if you run out of ammunition, you can just pick up rocks and conceivably shoot them. So certainly between those two, I would definitely take the Slingshot, although my accuracy wasn't any better. I do see that with a little bit of practice, that one has a lot more potential that I just really haven't explored yet. So I like this tool, although based off of the accuracy here, probably wouldn't be my go-to as of right now. Moving down the line here, I have the gun. And so let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all 10 shots are on the box, and within a fairly reasonable cluster, and I was shooting all of these tools were at about 30 to 35 feet. So, you know, at that distance, thus far, the gun was definitely my most accurate. However, issues with the gun, as I mentioned last time, it's a pain in the butt to carry lots of bullets, and when you're out, you're out. There is no backup ammunition like you have with a slingshot where you can pick up a rock. You're just done. It is accurate, but it's very, very, very noisy. So, you know, I like it. It's a really cool tool. Of course, it's super fun to shoot, and it's easy to be pretty good with it, at least at close range. But I think because of the noise, there's just no way that I could safely rely on that. You know, if I did miss a shot, there's definitely no chance that I'd be getting another opportunity with that. So really, really enjoyed it. But for minimalist survival, I think even though I was actually less accurate with the slingshot, I would probably still take the slingshot over the gun. Now, moving down the line, look at that. Found a dart there. Moving down the line here, we have the blowgun. And this one, as you can see, I mean, there's not really much comparison here. I was able to get all 10 shots on the box here, and all in a fairly tight cluster. This one actually went through the tail of the other one. I don't know if you can see that, but those guys are stuck together. You know, so those were just a couple of shots that were very, very close. And the blowgun's exceptionally easy to use. You can get an incredible amount of velocity with one. It's very good and very easy to be good with it quickly. As you can see here, you know, it's a pretty decent clustering at 35 feet. And I haven't practiced with any of these tools. I hadn't spent any time actually out trying to test them, trying to get a feel for how much drop or anything I'd be dealing with, and or wind interference here. So this was just kind of completely cold, trying to do some shooting and hunting. This is what that looks like with the blowgun. So for me, you know, the blowgun's a really easy win. It breaks down really small. It's very, very, very light. And you can do a lot of different things with it. You can hunt a lot of different types of game with it, surprisingly. And if you have multiple types of ammunition or multiple types of darts, especially the broadheads, you can hunt even bigger game, you know, getting up into like rabbits and squirrels, things like that. It doesn't necessarily just have to be small mice. I do actually know, you know, people will even hunt raccoons with this. And one of our followers did tell me that he was doing a little bit of research after seeing our video last week, and he found that there was actually people that apparently hunt bears with blowguns. I certainly wouldn't recommend doing it with this little 40 caliber blowgun that I'm using here, or these types of darts, but it certainly is doable, and people are having a lot of success with it. So for me, I think right now the blowgun is still the very top of my list. I can carry so much ammunition. It's so light. It's so easy to pack. And I feel confident with it. I feel, you know, like I really could. If I was out today just trying to shoot some birds or squirrels, I feel like I could actually probably succeed. Where with the rest of these guys, I just don't really know if I could say that. So today, my winner is the blowgun. With a caveat though, and this is, you know, over the past week or 2 weeks since I posted the first installment, I got a huge amount of response from people and followers that all were kind of echoing the same thing, and most people were telling me that a sling bow was the way to go. It's basically a compromise between just a standard slingshot, and then with some additional elements and attachments, you can also shoot arrows with it. And so a lot of guys really think that's a cool concept. Of course, like I said, I wasn't particularly accurate with the slingshot, but I see how I could get a lot better with it. And if I did have multiple attachment pieces where I could convert my slingshot into essentially a little wrist rocket bow, you know, that does open up a much wider range of potential hunting items. And so I am going to continue to explore this a little bit further. I am most comfortable, obviously, with the blow dart gun, but I clearly need to practice with the slingshot a bit more, because as many people as responded to that first installment, and as many people put their vote behind the slingshot and or sling bow, I'm clearly missing something here. I clearly need to expand my knowledge and get a better sense of what that tool is, because right now I am not sold. But I do know there's brands, you know, like Simple Shot, and I think they have the Hammer, which is a really, really cool lightweight setup that already has all the various accessories that I need in order to actually try using a sling bow. So I might pick one of those up, do a little bit of testing, then re-explore this and try comparing the sling bow with a blowgun at a later date. So yeah, I think that pretty much concludes this test here. Champion is the blowgun, but in the future that may change. I'm going to get better with this slingshot, and and see if I can actually maybe dethrone the king here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like and share with your friends. Take care and have a safe week out there.